Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Coalition Party, has held a meeting to reflect on what is clearly becoming the policy of the Kenya Kwanza regime to profile Mount Kenya region for political and economic domination. The meeting took note of the desire of the people of Mount Kenya to have a healthy political environment like other Kenyans. Unfortunately, this desire is being thwarted by the KK regime, and it must stop. Whereas the Constitution under Article 37 gives the people of Kenya the right to peacefully assemble, demonstrate, picket, and present petitions to public authorities, the actions of this illegitimate regime indicate a determination to deny the same to the people of Mount Kenya. We saw this during the questioning of Maina Jenga at the DCI on the 25th of May this year, and the subsequent court appearance in Nakuru. Maina's treatment laid bare the determination of the regime to weaponize state agencies to harass and intimidate Mount Kenya leaders. We are seeing the profiling of Mount Kenya youth as Mungiki, which amounts to an attempt by the regime to create an artificial crisis to justify violence against innocent youth from the mountain. It is our position that profiling of Mount Kenya youth will not solve the problems facing this regime. It will only derail the healing process. It will equally not help the Mount Kenya youth overcome the many challenges driving them into despair. We must remind the people of Kenya the violence that was meted out on Kenyans, and particularly the Kikuyu nation, in 1992, 1997, and 2007-2008, which was started and sustained by senior government officials, some of whom are serving in this illegitimate regime. Those who faced ICC charges over the 2007-2008 violence must be reminded that killing witnesses will not make them become exonerated of those crimes. Further, we wish to remind the people of Mount Kenya that the attempt to target, isolate, and finish established leaders and political parties of the region has happened before with grim consequences. Those who are old enough when power changed hands in 1978 will recall that Kikuyu leaders and their businesses and those in the public sector became immediate targets. The community witnessed a massive effort to cut down and humiliate its leaders, like the late James Gishuru, Njoroge Mungai, Bio Koinange, Waroro Kanja, Bernard Hinga, who was a commissioner of police, and Mwai Kibaki. Immediately, Jomo Kenyatta left the stage. Mwai Kibaki was to later become the most transformational leader the nation has ever known. He was seriously undermined and humiliated. The government claimed to be conducting surveillance of subversive activities and that its agents had infiltrated the organizations responsible for the same. This claim, like today's claim about the resurgence of Mungiki, is but an excuse to start harassing and suppressing any political activity or reorganization in the mountain region. Then as now, the state-sponsored political attack dogs to ensure that Kikuyu leaders who could command national constituency, like Kibaki did at the time, did not rise. That plan has started again with this illegitimate regime. As the regime targets the region's youth and leaders, it has also trained its eyes in taking over or destroying political parties associated with the region. The invasion of the Jubilee Party must be seen in this light. It is an attempt to cripple Mount Kenya leadership and create a crisis of governance of political parties in the region. The verification of our Azimio chairman, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, is also part of this evil scheme to subdue a whole community and region. This is totally unnecessary. Chinua Achebe once said, remarked, when did the rain start beating us? And we are asking, when did the rain start beating the mountain region? It is apparent that the destabilization of Jubilee Party and the destruction of established political leaders of the region is a do-or-die agenda for the KK regime, sponsored by the highest level of the Kenya Kwanza leadership to ensure that Mount Kenya region has no serious political party to challenge anti-Mount Kenya policies that appear to be driving the decisions of this regime. Many of the tax measures contained in the finance bill currently before Parliament are unreasonable and clearly directed not only at the nation, but particularly at Mount Kenya businesses. The proposed turnover tax is basically a tax on assets whose primary objective is to impoverish the mamambogas, boda-bodas, and other vulnerable Kenyans struggling to make a living in these difficult economic circumstances. The majority of these businesses, small businesses, are owned largely by men and women of the mountain region.